Has everybody? Wilton, can you hear us?
Yeah.
Those on Teams?
Yeah.
Neil, can you hear us on Teams? I'll send some on then. I'll do it.
Yeah, evening, I can hear you absolutely fine.
Thank you.
Multi-pater.
Is it?
I don't want you reading their notes, Nick.
I should have been a doctor. I've got a few words I could use today, I feel.
Right, good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining tonight's full council meeting of the Wilton Town Council. I just want to remind everyone that the meeting is recorded both audibly and visually as well. And just to say it was before we start the meeting, we'll go into questions from the public. But just before that, we're going to invite Councillor Church to provide her updates. There's no need to rush off.
Thank you. Should I sit down? You happy?
Yes.
Yeah, yes. Thank you. Sorry, I've got a Cookhampton Parish Council meeting at 7:30, so sometimes I just try and make sure I can get there too. So my update, as you know, Wilton Fire Station is very much on the agenda. The Fire Authority approved the decision to go to public consultation and closure of 8 fire stations in Dorset and Wiltshire, including Wilton. The Fire Authority consists of my peers in Wiltshire, Dorset, Swindon and BCP, which is Bournemouth, Christchurch and Poole, and the 2 local councillors who are members of the Fire Authority, which is Councillor Dalton in Harnham and Councillor Sample in Salisbury City Centre, both voted in favour to consult on Wilton's closure, despite the operational pressure this will have on Salisbury. I've attended all meetings offered by Dorset and Wiltshire Fire Service, Wilton Fire Station and 2 public consultation events in Wilton that happened this morning and last night. And both meetings were standing room only, which demonstrates the local concern. We know Dorset and Wiltshire Fire Service have a budget deficit, and this is behind why this consultation is happening. John Glenn is lobbying the Minister to address the discrepancy in the precept and housing numbers estimated by government in awarding government funding to fire authorities. I spoke with John last night after the meeting because I was so moved by everyone's contribution and to press the Treasury for a decision. This, I believe, is one of the best ways of securing our station. And the other is for everyone to respond to the public consultation online. The link is on mine and the Town Council's Facebook pages, so I do please encourage everyone to make their representations. Flooding, it's good to see that the flooding experienced in the town has abated and the Environment Agency have removed the flood warnings to the Wiley and centre of Wilton. The clean-up operation of silt and debris and worse, as we know, is ongoing. On my way to the V&A this morning to help save the pub, I'm either saying pubs or fire stations, I noticed that Wiltshire Council's contractor was cleaning the leaves on the A36 at Parkball Junction, so they're completely doing the A36, which is great. That helps to keep the gullies clear. I do, however, have grave concerns about Wessex Water's capacity through Wilton, causing consistent issues at Churchill Court. It's unacceptable that every year these residents have to endure sewage swirling around their building. My officers are pressing Wessex Water for a resolution. We clean it up. They've really just got to sort it out, and I'll keep monitoring this. 2 weeks ago, Wiltshire Council approved a 4.99 increase in the precept, the maximum allowable amount, without going to government for special permission. And the vote was 48 against and 50 in favour of the budget as presented. The areas causing residents the most concern are cutting back on black bin collections to once every 3 weeks and hiking car parking charges, including a huge increase on Sundays, risking untold damage to the nighttime economy, retail and food and beverage operators. I've got a little bit of experience of this because when I was Cabinet Member for Economic Development in Salisbury during COVID, I was I got rid of car parking charges in Salisbury just to help the place recover. So I know this does have an impact. Interestingly, although Salisbury City Council councillors are opposing the increase as per their full council meeting last night, so many Salisbury-based Wiltshire councillors voted in favour of the parking charge increase when setting the Wiltshire budget. So those responsible had an opportunity actually to stop the increase, and I'm afraid they chose not to. And I make no apologies for being slightly political at the moment, because I just seem to be getting, whether it's council houses closing, fire stations closing, local, pressure on businesses, whether it's a pub or what have you, trying to survive. I just feel that although I haven't brought you the normal update, these are the things that I'm just really fighting for in our local community right now. And I'm happy to take questions, not just about this, but any other issues you might want to bring up. Thank you.
Councillor, so any questions?
Yeah, hi, Pauline.
Hi.
Yeah, thank you for the update on the Churchill Court. It's certainly something that needs to be taken back from there. I was there delivering our leaflets the other day, at the weekend, and it still stinks around there. It really smells like a toilet when you go to the bottom of those flats, so that still needs to be resolved.
Okay.
And also on the, I've had a letter from John Glenn as well, because I wrote to him about the situation with the fire service, and he's written back to me to say that yes, he's got a meeting with the minister, and he will be inviting all the other MPs that are affected as well to that meeting. So
He wants a party view on this. Yeah, absolutely.
Fully support him on that.
Yeah.
I said that. Yeah.
Any other questions? Councillor Back.
Hi, Pauline.
Hi.
I'm sorry if I've missed this. Were you able to bring the maps that we've been expecting? The
I've
flooding.
got them.
Oh, okay.
You'll take them to the shop tomorrow.
I'll pop in tomorrow.
Oh, will you? Oh, that's really kind. I'm so sorry. I'm just trying to rush.
No, that's okay. I appreciate that. There's a lot on at the moment. I understand that. And I think I read somewhere that the budget, the Wiltshire Council budget will result in a reduced service from the parish steward. Do you know anything more about that?
Yeah, so it appeared that they were going to be removing some of the flexibility. I mean, the service is obviously provided by Wiltshire Council, funded by Wiltshire Council, and the direction comes from the parish, which I know parishes love because it's really helpful. But what has happened is the funding around how that happens has changed slightly, and some of the funding has come out of the budget that comes from government, which has to be used in a certain way. So in order to keep this service going, some of the activities that the parish steward will be doing won't be under the direction of parishes. So some of it might be, we've got to, fill potholes, or we've got to do some highway maintenance work, or what have you, instead. So I think there's been some slight tweaking to what the parish steward. I think initially we were fearful that it was going to go all together, but I think there's some compromise around what that is. You may find when they start their new financial year that maybe you don't get them as much or as many times. I'll just have to wait and see. I don't know the.
So we still deal with Southern Highways for comms about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. I think we just have to wait and see how that's going to develop.
Presumably they'll write to us and explain.
I would hope so.
Hopefully, yeah. Okay, thank you.
If they don't, then let me know and I'll
Thank
get
you
some
very
information.
Any other questions? Councillor, I'll come to you in a second, son.
Is it true that the potholes have been filled on the back road to Great Wishford between Ditchampton and... It's not true, because someone put on Facebook that they were being filled yesterday, but I haven't been that way.
Are you talking about the C10? So all the way along the back Wishford?
Yes, the very bad bit, just before you go into the village of Great Wishford.
Yeah, so I've just come that way a minute ago, and I didn't feel like I was about to break my suspension. So maybe you could be right.
Yeah.
It's not great, in any
Okay.
effect. The only way you're going to resolve that road is to resurface it.
Yeah.
It's such a mess. So we need to get a resurfacing programme on that. Unfortunately, I see roads that are unclassified don't have the same priority as the high-speed roads, but I know it's on David Button's list, but I do think some of the very, very deep ones have been resolved. In fact, I came back from the Cotswolds at the weekend, which is after the day. The biggest pothole I've ever seen in my life was on the A419 in Wiltshire. It was, I cannot tell you how deep it was. It was sort of this deep on the side of the road, and it had a pipe running through it, you know, so you could see the utility. I mean, it was absolutely shocking. I couldn't believe it. I'm thinking anyone who's going in there is going to damage, is going to basically destroy their car. It's becoming a real problem. I saw a report today that there are 3 times as many pothole reports this year than there were last year. Now that will have something to do with the weather. It'll have something to do with the lack of funding and resource to do it. But we have had a particularly warm and then wet time of it in the last 12 months. So, yeah, it's diabolical, really.
Thank you, Councillor.
Yes, thank you for coming to 2 meetings, calling on the phone.
And you too, you were there.
Your question this morning, you said if the government comes up with this money, will you pack this exercise in? And they were non-committal, they wouldn't reply, would they?
Well, I pressed them, as you know, because I didn't feel they answered the question. And I have had off-the-record discussions with members of the Fire Authority and tried to gently say, hey, you know, if this money comes in, why don't you just, you know, can the whole process, the whole exercise? And they're kind of quite receptive to that, I think, more so than they were at the very beginning of the process. So, of course, there's been lots of lobbying, lots of new information, lots of different points of view that have come into the mix. So I think if government does come up with something before June, when the next Fire Authority, I think, meeting is to make the decision, they have said today that they will consider it in the round. Now, it really depends if something comes up, how much that is. And if it doesn't actually resolve their deficit, well, then I would imagine they would definitely go straight ahead. But what I was pressing them for is that you've gone through 80% of your pain as part of this consultation right now. And so they've gone through the worst of it, haven't they? And there's probably 20% they've yet to do. If the money comes in, you know, it would be quite easy, wouldn't it, for them to just say, hey, you know, we've gone through the pain already. Let's just put that in our back pocket and use it for operational purposes. What I wanted them to do is that if government changed the funding formula for fire stations, that they use the money to stop the closures. That was really my point. So if the money comes in, we've just got to make sure it's sufficient, sustainable, and it can prevent these stations from closing.
My wife had a very lengthy letter from Jean Clem, which I'll drop into the shop to you somewhere.
That's
he's not really pushing Parliament. His ex-financial secretary and treasury.
yeah.
We can do what we can.
He knows the levers, so we're hoping that that will.
be helpful.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions?
Might be a bit early. Oh yeah, can I stay for keeping them warm?
We'll go to the pub.
It's not very warm in that hall.
Thank you very much. Okay, so we'll go on to questions from the public participation. So just to remind everyone that there's a maximum time period of 20 minutes assigned to this segment, and so speakers can speak for no more than 3 minutes. That would help us to keep to that time, but we haven't got that many central speakers, so I'm sure we'll be a bit more lenient. So any questions from the
Hello.
Okay.
Nice to see you all again. I guess a lot has changed since I was last here, but I'm Alex Elliott. I now officially run Save Our Fire Stations, which is lobbying to stop the 8 closures across all of the areas, but obviously being in Wilton and also with my family connection to Maiden Newton, it's very close from home. I guess an update in terms of government, which has only come out within the last sort of 2-3 hours, is there is now an adjournment debate that's been opened by Brian Matthews for Thursday, the 12th of March. So hopefully as well, that shows that more MPs are getting on board, and I've had some great responses from him. My main reason for being here today is almost all of the towns affected are running their own version of the meeting that is not hosted by Dorset Wiltshire Fire and Rescue Service, and thus doesn't follow the same structure in terms of the approach to the data, and can talk a little bit more freely about some of the concerns that we legitimately have. So my question to you guys is, would you be willing to allow me to host one of those at the pavilion, and hopefully with a waiver of the charge, because it truly will be in the interest of the wider town to sort of hear from members of the fire service where I can get them. I'm hoping to get the FRSA involved, and then also families, because you know they've committed a lot of their time and effort, so I'd love to have them speak as well.
Okay, thank you. We can't vote on that tonight.
So you've got the consultation as an agenda item.
Yeah.
So you can tag this on as that agenda item, and then you can decide as a council whether you want to support that.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll consider that as part of the agenda item for the fire station. Councillor Matthew,
Yeah, so I had a member of the public mention about the wall buildings in the Market Square car parks. They really want redoing. I know you can't do it in better weather, it's not we do, we get a lot of rain, but it really wants looking at. So if you take that on board.
fine. Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
Hi, yeah, I think you all know me. I'm Kenny from Entry Space. Just give you a quick update on what we've been up to and how we're doing up there. But first, just want to thank, I haven't seen you since the former Andrew. I was employed for her support for Entry Space when you were there. Congratulations to Chris. And I'm going to be cheeky and ask for a picture at the end if that's okay.
Yes.
So yeah, we're doing really well at Entry Space. Demand for our service is it's extreme. We are receiving around about 5 applications for service leavers a week. Obviously, we only have 44 properties, and we like people to spend a couple of years with us to go through our programme of that realisation. So the demand for that, that service personnel leaving and coming to these transitional services where, in my words, we put the civvy back because the military aren't great at that when they finish with you. Is really, really high, and we are being really successful, not only in the transition and the independent living piece, but in the sustainment of that once they leave us, and also the employment piece, as you know, because you have one of our guys now working for Wilton Council, and I believe he's doing quite well and rustling the white feathers, so that's all. So we're doing really well on that. We are finding a bit of pushback on the employment on the whole for service leavers and veterans at the minute, due to the ongoing situation in the Middle East and the wider world, due to the stringent recall. So obviously everyone who leaves the military is eligible for recall 6 years after leaving, and some major employers are like, how long are we going to have this person for? So it is worth keeping an eye on that. If you see any employers or anything being pushing back on that, I'd like to know, because it's something I'd go to the Veterans Minister with. We can't stop it, the stringent reserve is there, but it is loosening the appetite to employ service leavers. Brig is coming up to see me next week, I think, for a bit of a look around, and I haven't been there before. If any of you want to join Brig, is it 11 o'clock?
Yes.
On Wednesday.
3 o'clock.
3 o'clock Wednesday next week. If any of you haven't been up and you want to come up and have a look around, kind of see what we do, how we do it, and meet some of the guys and girls, then you are more than welcome.
Thank you very much. Any other questions from the room?
One thing I was just wondering, because remind me of what we've done up at Entrain about the defibrillators around town and everywhere, and Salisbury Rotary have been putting alongside their defibrillators the made to bleed kits. Don't know whether you're familiar with those, and we're looking at possibly doing similar in Wilton if the appetite's there for the town. I'm sure it would be, but that's just for a bit of information.
Good, thank you. Any questions from those that are on Teams? No, doesn't look like it. Okay, that concludes then the public participation. Before continue, is there anyone that is just here for one particular item on the agenda from the public? You are, okay.
I'm just going to join online, so you guys can carry on, and I'll just join.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, we'll keep the agenda, then that's the same thing. Thank you very much for coming. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
30. Right, so we go on with the main bulk of the meeting then. So we start off then with apologies. Any apologies?
Full house.
Full house. Any declarations of interest or requests for dispensation? So we've got Councillor Edge.
Sorry.
Yeah.
On item 7, the on the project that I mentioned.
Hey. Look.
Yeah, the same agenda as
Councillor Paul.
Yeah, agenda item 6 for planning permission for number 30 Shaftesbury Road. Nick and I are friends. Okay, with the applicant.
Any others? No. Fine, so we then move on to item number 3, so the minutes of the full council meeting held on the 9th of February. Obviously everyone's received those minutes. Is there any comments or questions that haven't been raised already? No, so could I have a proposer for those minutes?
I'll move the bills.
Okay, so councillor Matthews, seconder councillor Ditton, all in favour? Yeah, all in favour, okay.
I'll do a picture and then I'm going to go.
It's me, don't worry.
I'll get shot if
I've
I've
got
got
a long wait.
Hey,
You might have a long wait.
can we do a quick?
Yes, we can do it. Just suspend the issue.
Propose we suspend standing orders.
For those online, we're just suspending the meeting for 2 minutes for a photo opportunity.
Do you want somebody to take it? Yeah, we should take it.
Yeah, well, it's healthy, yeah.
No. Has to be, I'm really sorry.
Has to be that way.
Should have worked more. You get there, I will get that size because then there's things you do for social.
Not pretty slow, Kenny, I have to say.
Beautiful.
Right.
It works out well on the end.
Lines. There you go.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Absolutely well. Just for me.
Shut the door.
Yes. Right.
Apologies for that. Thank you. Close the door now. Okay. So going back to, we've done the minutes, we've approved those, on to agenda item number 4. So the civic report. So just to say that I'll be attending the launch of the Wilton Village Market this Saturday the 14th. I know a few of you are already attending, but obviously as many people as we can get to come along will be fantastic. There will be a stall there for the council, which I know some of you are kindly going to be staffing. So and will be a good opportunity to see as many members of the public that come to join that event.
Where is this, where do we go? Where is our table?
We'll look out for you.
We haven't been given our pitch.
Oh, we haven't
yet.
yet.
Okay.
If I see you, I'll send you in that direction as well.
Okay, thanks.
That's it.
Is there any verbal updates that any council would like to provide? No? Okay, so in terms of local organisation reports, any local organisations that you represent that you have reports to share? On to that. Okay, no, nothing. And we've got the
I can ping it over to you.
have you been to everything already?
Yeah.
Oh,
Don't worry, I'll put it
I
in.
missed that one. I'll come back. Well, I'll come back to that. So there's a police report, but I'll put that in a bit further down the agenda. So agenda item number 5, to receive financial reports and approve payments. So I won't go through all of the details here, but are there any questions from the information provided? Absolutely.
Yes, sorry. Line 10 on the payments for post-delivery charge. When is delivery going to be, do we know? For the, well, whatever it is, post-delivery charge.
Oh, the Royal Mail delivery
Yeah.
charge. This,
I assume that was for the leaflets.
yes,
Yeah.
it's scheduled in for dropping on week commencing the 1st of April.
Thank you.
Any other questions? No? Okay, so if we we just need in that case to note the bank reconciliation, year-to-date receipts and payment, and list the payments and raise any queries that we've had, which we've been through. No resolution, I think we've agreed on that one. Yeah. And then for the next item on here, so to resolve and approve payments to the value of £19,313.51. Did I have a proposer? Councillor Blackman, a seconder. Councillor Lefemina, all in favour? Okay, great, so that's payments approved, and then we need to appoint a councillor to carry out the bank reconciliation for Q1. Thanks go to Councillor Whitton for carrying out the last bank reconciliation. Any volunteers to carry that out before I nominate someone?
I volunteer for Councillor Ditton. That's been such a good
You're an
job.
expert now. Because bank signatories can't do it, can they?
Oh, you can.
Oh, I don't think we could.
I want to do it.
No. I don't mind, I will do it if Councillor Dixon would like a break. But I didn't think we could, sorry.
You have to continue.
Just continue, yeah.
So, so you're proposing that you'll continue.
I'm not proposing.
I propose councillor.
Okay, so we've got proposer, assessor, councillor Willock, all in favour. Unanimous, yeah. And then item number 4 on the recommendation, so to resolve to transfer the funds as specified into the respective EMR. So that was the funds relating to the 20 mile speed limit and the cemetery park work. I have a vote, please. That transfer. Councillor Blackman, seconder. Councillor Boyd, all in favour? All in favour. Right, if we just quickly scoot back to the previous agenda item.
Police report.
The police report, which has been chaired for me, but
We send it to you on Teams.
Teams.
I think I did it on Teams. Email. Try email. Yeah, email.
Loading. Can I see your
You
screen?
can.
Thank you. So we've had a report in from the local police. So if I just read, this report comes from PC Palace and PCSO Charlotte King. So motoring related offences, so speed enforcement recorded 15 vehicles speeding over the course of 20 minutes on the 27th of February 2026 in Wilton on the Avenue. This stretch of road has a clearly displayed speed limit of 30 miles per hour. The fastest vehicle was reported travelling at 44 miles per hour on the day in question. It was bright, but the roads were still damp from the previous rain. Depending on the previous convictions in history, 13 drivers will be offered a speed awareness course, 2 drivers will receive a fixed penalty notice and 3 points. Proceedings will now be undertaken to ensure that the most appropriate outcome for the offenders takes place. There's a note on here about home security. So we are once again seeing an increase in burglaries within the area. Below is a poster with advice around home security, which is part of the report, which we will share. And then in terms of community consultations, if there are any local events ongoing, please let the team know via their email address at the email address listed on the report, and we will try our best to attend any questions on the report. Okay.
The report will be linked into the minutes.
Great, and it has just come through to me now. Right, so on to item number 6.
Do we need to? No. Sorry, nothing.
So you've just done the EMR on the
Yeah.
financial and I nip back to the police report. So on to item number 6. So this relates to planning applications. Obviously, we are a consult on these planning applications. The decision will align with Wiltshire Council planning, but we obviously will need to give a support or object answer on each of these. So I'm assuming you've all had a chance to look at these applications. So if we refer to the first application, which is PL 2026 00599, which is 40 Shaftesbury Road. Any comments, questions?
I can't see anything wrong with this one.
Okay,
I propose we support it.
so we propose, I've got a proposal, seconded for support. Yeah, councillor Blanford Hull. All in favour? All in favour, so we'll see what we support that one. The next one is Wilton Shopping Village Car Park for PL 2026 00969. This is notification of proposed tree works. Any questions, comments? This one?
Those we support this one.
Proposer, we've got a seconder for that. Councillor Warlock, all in favour? Yeah, so that one goes through. On the third one, so 30 Shaftesbury Road, Wilton, Salisbury. So this is PL 2026 00224. I did this myself and checked against the previous application that was raised in 2009, which was actually rejected. I don't, in my opinion, don't feel that the application has changed significantly from the previous application, which was supported by this council, but was rejected by Wiltshire Planning. So I'll be interested to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, so I went up there today because I wanted to see, no one was coming up tonight, just be sure where it was. And just by short chance, as I got up there, this woman pulled up my car and parked. And it looked as though she was parked, where this. And I said, "Are you going to do?" Yeah, she said, she's quite open. And she said, I'm selling the property and I want to sell it with planning permission to build on back onto Victoria Road. And she said, I'm going to Norfolk. She said, I come from there as a teenager, couldn't wait to leave Norfolk, now going back to where it comes from. I've got to say, when I was up Shaftesbury, there's several properties that have done that, built at the end of their gardens or drive, whatever. So my opinion is, even if you turn this down, Wiltshire Council turned it down, she went to appeal, I think she won it.
Okay.
That's my opinion.
No, thank you, Councillor. Is any other? Councillor Ditton?
There doesn't seem to be enough space to put a 2-bedroom house in the space that is currently there. Looking at the plans, it would fill the whole space minus a few metres, the garden. There's nowhere to park really on either road. Access would be a problem for building and ongoing residents. Just doesn't seem to make sense to me.
Yeah, there's a precedent actually for building on narrow strips up Victoria Road. There is one up number 57, which is on a very narrow strip, and I can't find planning for that. So I don't know how it got built. There's nothing on the planning board.
in for retro planning, I think.
I don't know. And when you look at the address, there's nothing on the planning board. Try and find on.
That's pretty old. The plannings for the address it would originally have been
Shaftesbury Road.
before it was built.
When I looked at,
potentially.
because I know the people next door, number 57, and I looked at their address and then that came up. That one, so I don't know.
Maybe it was a plot of land that had already been sold.
I
So
don't know.
so that in that case you're sort of starting from scratch rather than
Mm.
building a house on your own driveway. You know, I can see both sides of this on number 30. It's a nice, small, affordable house, which we welcome to Wilton. You've got to build houses somewhere.
Yeah.
But you are losing 2 parking spaces that belong to the original house.
Yeah.
And that has got no parking or driveway at the front.
Yeah, that's right.
Unlike number 40, which has got a driveway, which they're going to expand. Right. So we're not losing space on that one. Here you're losing 2 parking spaces.
Yeah. The other comment I've got about this planning application, it is totally out of keeping the finish by having timber. It doesn't actually fit in at all.
Are those, sorry, are they, the two that they built further up from there?
Yeah.
Have they not got a bit of wood cladding?
So
Yeah, I agree with you, Gary. There's none others like it until they built those two.
yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
But that's really.
We don't want to encourage that.
Yes, I know certainly historically, I know that we've had this on our application, I think about 4 or 5 times in my history. It's been on the council and they've all gone through and the implications have been similar to each individual one because they have been parking traditionally for the residents of Shaftesbury Road. And then when they sell the property, then there's people on Shaftesbury Road about to park on the road. So I know, you know, I'm similar to what Maria Lefebvre was saying, that see both sides of the argument. I think on hindsight, I don't think we're in a position to actually be able to refuse it because it's probably almost the last plot that's available to do that, isn't it? Or is it one
So
more?
they squeeze more.
Yeah, I don't know.
I was in-
One more. Yeah, so I know there's not many, but
No.
certainly I know I've seen 4 or 5 built up there since I've been.
Oh, they do keep.
Yeah, so I think that yeah, if we got a problem with the finish, then that's something we could probably object to. But I think overall, I don't have a real problem with it because the precedent has been set in the past.
I noticed that the plot, the footprint of the proposed building is the same, I think, as it was for the previous application. But the previous application was declined by Wiltshire Council, because it only left 15 square metres of land. And they thought that was basically, I think, what they call overdevelopment. So the house is too big for the plot, I think, was the view previously from Wiltshire Council.
And that was a 3-bedroom property.
Yeah, but I've got a feeling this footprint isn't any small. It might be a bit.
So it's 93 square metres, this
It's
current
about the same.
proposal, and it's 90, the previous one was 90, so it's actually marginally bigger.
Right. So,
It's one nice bedroom.
I mean, the only thing is, I think the rules was potentially slightly different then, although maybe not the sizing rules. I mean, on the face of it, they could decline it again for being too big.
So just for everyone's benefit, the reason for the decline in 2009 was the scale and character. So the dwelling was too large for the 90 square metre plot. It was overlooking of 13 Victoria Road, a first floor bedroom window in the east elevation faced directly into the house with windows of a neighbouring property. Open space contribution was, so no section where 6 financial contribution towards it. And then cycle parking was not included or not provided. That was the reasons it was declined before. I think that scale and amenity space, so the space, the size of the plot is unresolved. I think that's carried forward. I think the overlooking of 13 Victoria Road, there's a window, I think, in the first floor window facing 13 Victoria Road, so that is unresolved as well. The concern that have already been raised by members about the design and character. So I think there are still reasons as to why it could be declined based on the precedent that was set when it was submitted before. I know each application is different, and like you say, some have been approved, but there are similarities between the previous application and this one. So what do we want to do?
Well, we've got pressure from the government for building houses, haven't we? Because that's where the rules have changed since that 2009. And there is a precedent there to try and build more.
I think the window thing will be resolved. I used to live in 13, and the window on the first floor on that side, I think, is only the landing window. So it's not as though they would look in it fully mind. But I think that could be resolved by the new development. I'm sure they could resolve that. But it's the size of the property on the size of the plot, which is the key thing. Yes, they do have to build more, but I mean, personally, I think we could, object to it on that issue alone, in my view.
So do I have a proposal? Anyone?
I would propose we support this.
Yeah, agreed.
Okay, so we've got a proposer to support and seconder from Councillor Blanford Hull. So that's Matthew's proposed. All in favour? 2, 3, 2, or 4 in favour. And there's 2 abstentions.
Yep.
And that leaves
6,
So we've got 4.
Oh, it could still.
it might carry.
It might.
It might. So just again, so who was in favour? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. 2 abstentions.
And then
6. So there's 5 that are voted against then.
No, you don't know that.
So can I make?
You don't know the rest of them abstained yet. There's been no vote against yet.
okay, so all those against.
Sorry, against the
Against.
proposal.
Against the proposal.
1, 2, 3, 4,
Yeah.
That's fallen. Okay, so that one's fallen. So is there another proposal that anyone wants to put forward?
If you don't, I'll propose that we, what's the option? Object.
Object or no comment.
Object, because the property is too large for the plot.
Seconded by councillor Disson.
Can I add, sorry, lack of parking? The effect on availability of parking for the Shaftesbury Road property.
It doesn't affect the application because that's not the applicant. It's not within the red line area, is it? Although that may be informative, it's not conditioned for refusing it because
Okay.
the plot is the plot.
Okay,
And
leave that.
it's not on the plot.
I mean, plot has cars parked on it now. It is the driveway for that house.
Yes, but it won't be, and that's the plot is all that's concerned with the building plot that's there is only concerned with the parking applicable to that development.
Yeah,
The fact that it's lost car parking,
that development will mean 30 Shaftesbury Road has to park elsewhere.
Yeah.
So the impact on local parking, I didn't know if we were allowed to say that.
It will be an impact.
it will be an impact, but
Well, that's my proposal. That's my proposal. The plot, it's too large for the plot and the impact on local parking.
did you want putting about the window on the 13?
They'll soon resolve that.
You could put comment on it, if it goes ahead, it needs to be obscure glass.
I think that's pretty obvious.
Okay, seconder, that one, councillor Disson, all in favour? Then you've got 5, so that one's carried, so we will object on those.
It's interesting to see a virtual council plant there.
Exactly.
I still think if they turn it down, she went to appeal on.
Well, that's up to them.
That might be true, but I don't think that's sufficient for us to.
No, we're in sort of this anyway. Okay, so on to item number 7, though, to receive a formal update on the status of the projects. So we've entered a very ambitious period with the council now, with lots of projects planned following our discussions around the budget a few meetings ago. So we've got a number of recommendations and resolutions to go through in this session. I'm going to assume that you've read it all. So I'll go straight to the recommendations just to keep us on time. So for project 1, which is the Christmas 2025 review and plans for 2026, we need to identify 2 council representatives to be assigned to this project. Noting a project plan outlining the actions, including the tendering process, will be presented to the council for consideration in April. So we're looking for 2 volunteers who are going to take the Christmas 2025 review and 26 project forward. Bearing in mind that you will need to come back to this council in April to present the plan. I'll wait for.
I think I volunteer.
Oh, we've got 1 volunteer. Is there? So, anyone else going to join councillor Disson?
I'm away quite a bit of work between now and the April meeting, so I'll happily support where I can, but I can't.
I'll volunteer, but only when everybody else has decided not to.
I'm wondering whether Councillor Ray should be interested. Didn't a lot of work years ago with Christmas tree lights and everything, and the days we had to close the man.
Well, I was going to re-elect it too, because I was quite ready. So I had, I've been out until the council took proper control of the. I was responsible for the Christmas tree lights for over 30 years. So, and I do have a rapport with the current contractor because I'm one of the ones that appointed them in the first place. So, yeah, I do know what they've got as well. So, yeah, happy to if the council are happy with that.
Okay, so do I have a proposal from? Propose it.
I propose because Southern Council did.
There you go. Second.
Second.
Councillor Forbes, all in favour? All in favour. So thank you, Councillor Disson and Councillor Reg. Look forward to hearing from you in April. Project 2 to the website. As you know, we've got a website working group in place, which is looking at the modernisation of the website. We've and a wireframe, as it's called, come back, which was sent back to Design Jam contractor for a revision. That revision has come back, and I must say, having seen it today, it's significantly improved. So we'll be able to share that when we after this meeting, so you can see what the provisional layout will look like. It is quite a transformation, I'd say, from where we are today. So what I would like to do is I'm going to put a proposal forward for this, that we, first of all, sorry, is any questions about the website work? No? So I'm going to propose, if everyone's happy, that we can continue the work that we're doing on the website, and we'll report back in due course once we're further down the line. So is there a seconder for my proposal? Councillor Wilton, all in favour? Thank you very much.
Just one question, Mr. Mayor. Does that include will the website include the new Wilton events diary that we've talked about in the past, or fairly recently?
Yeah, I think it will, won't it? Yeah.
So because of the amount of information that's got to change, it will be a phased rollout. So there is a section on there for events and also the wider community collaboration as well.
Okay, yeah, I just want to make sure that's there. Thank you.
Thank you. On to product number 3. So this is the the public convenience project, I would say, in Wilton. So I'm going to hand over to the lead councillors for this, either Councillor Blackman or Councillor Bamford Hall, if you'd like to take us through what the current position is.
Well, the current position is that the brief was to basically to see how we could fit in the toilets into the existing toilet block, using the Wallgate products for the sanitary ware. Basically what I've done, I've actually drawn up, I think you've all seen them.
I have got them here.
Yeah, I've got them last couple of years as well. Basically, it all fits and it all complies with the various building regulations as far as I'm able to. There are obviously needs further detail design, but I would be best left to the contractors to come up with the solutions. It's a lot of dimensions that have to be set for the various items. So really, that's where we are at the moment. So it's a question of whether you want to go forward on that, on the basis that's been drawn up. Three compartments. And it provides a large storage area which was also a front.
Any questions?
Do you want to? What side do you want?
I don't know. That's
They're like here.
well, that's a survey that was done. So they're obviously behind the health centre.
Can I put a question out there while people are looking? We initially talked about 2 units, cubicle units.
Food facilities.
Yeah, fully accessible facilities, with then storage for the council and council staff, particularly facilities officer. And then Gary very cleverly realised that if we include baby change facility, then it needs to be slightly wider, doesn't it?
You need another cubicle.
We need another unit.
With standard disabled toilet requirements. According to the regulation, you can't put a baby change into a disabled toilet. So you have to provide a separate facility.
I was wondering, and I know we floated this idea, if we should go back to the 2 units, one with the baby change and one, if you like, standard accessible unit, only because the 3 obviously has an ongoing, slightly increased maintenance cost to it. I'm not sure exactly what that is, but obviously 3 is a bit more expensive than 2, certainly to install, and the ongoing cost. So I was just wondering, while people are looking at these, if they think, so to have this one and this one, just 2, we've got 3 at the moment, is still an option, I believe.
I'm very impressed with the ones that Councillor Van Hill's done. And I think that probably ticks all the boxes that we talked about, because we did originally say probably 3 units, and for me, I think that plan works. and I'd be happy to support that. So it's a question of which options we go for going forward, isn't it?
Absolutely. Did you cover off the options?
Well, the options are is to put the project to this company Wargate, who provide all the same, where they do all these sorts of things anyway. They have not an in-house, but they actually work closely with other contractors for the actual construction work. But that's really something that we would know more about. It's all been in one group of two contractors, really. You can negotiate with them directly. The alternatives obviously is to go open tendering, which would probably extend the time, but we'd actually get down to sorting out a price and starting the work.
But if we go to open tendering, we would probably get a wider range of prices, wouldn't we?
Yeah. You'd also get a lot more options, which is probably not really where you want to go.
Yeah.
I propose option 1 because it's local. We like to support local. It's down the road. That's my proposal.
I'll second that.
Yeah, well, Walgate have already said that there will be no maintenance cost if there's anything comes wrong, because it just walk down the road.
So we've got a
Can I?
couple of questions. So I just want to take those questions. We'll hold that proposal there and we'll still go ahead with that proposal. But if I can just get these questions perhaps a bit dispersed.
Do we not have an obligation to put it out to tender based on the price of the project? Is there a consideration there?
The council is obliged to put the tender opportunity out to national tender. However, because the council has Wargate and Healthmatic, both Wiltshire-based companies within the vicinity, looking at the longer term servicing costs, looking at a lot of the longer term maintenance costs, etc. As long as the council has a compelling reason why they want to go with option 1, it can be done.
Good.
But it has to be a compelling reason and not just because it's the easiest option. It has to be that it's value for money. It has to be that they are both nationally recognised contractors. The other, it's all in the papers, but if I could just also add in as well, that the residents and the visitors of this town have been expecting the toilet facility to be delivered by now. And obviously with the summer approaching, then it's an option to go with another company that's got the availability to support. But there are obviously all of your considerations and all of the impact is listed in the report. So everything has to be weighed up and then we have to record if you choose to go away from that and you choose to go with option 1, what the rationale needs to be.
Yes, I'm strongly against option 1 because, and like Councillor Ditton said, I do think we ought to get competitive tenders. You do get different opinions, and I think 3 opinions is great because you may find that you want to change something. This is the most expensive thing that the Town Council's done for 15 years. And I feel because we're here for oversight and scrutiny, I feel we should be getting tenders. I mean, I know I don't see why, you know, what the difference is between putting the toilets in June or September, because I mean, they've been like that since the 1970s, you know. So I think more haste, less speed a bit. And I'm concerned as well because it's on the website saying we're only going to have 1 contractor. So, I mean, has a possibility if we vote for that. That's a bit like me going on Wilton Chat and saying, I want an extension, I've got the money, I only want 1 person to quote, but I'm in a hurry. Right, so I'm sort of leaving myself a bit open to people adding on 10 or 20,000 to the price because they know they've got the job. So that a little bit of worry there. So I think I prefer 2 or 3. When I did meet, we went with Piers, didn't we, before, and he did say he could do the drawings and the spec for us. Obviously, it costs, like option 3 would cost us if we take someone on. You know, they want to be paid to do the drawings and the specification, wouldn't they? Yeah, but I mean, they might alter them, might they? I don't know. This is only schedule 1, isn't it? The drawings, we were told. So, and the specification as well, and overseeing the work. I quite like the sound of option 3. So it takes the pressure off, you know, the office staff. But I feel very strongly we should tender it. I really do, because it's a lot of money.
Any other points of view before I go back to that?
I would just say that I definitely don't fancy option 3, because going out and we would be employing somebody to run that, which is going to cost you with circa about 20 grand just for somebody to oversee what the contracts are going to be doing.
Where did you get that figure from? 20,000.
It's not going to be a 2-minute job, and they would have to, and they have to do it to their criteria. I've been involved in things where you've had an oversight manager like that take a responsibility, and it can be a nightmare.
Any other points of view?
Well, we met with Pierce and Wargate, and what the Wargate ladies had to say seemed just quite straightforward. They said they have got things which are indestructible. You can get them in different colors and all of that stuff. And I really liked what they were saying. And I think they probably would do a really good job.
The thing for me is that our decision is not just about money, is it? You know, money is one element, yes, but there are so many other elements that should, as is in the agenda papers. You know, it's about the start time and knowledge and experience and the contractor and where they are and the kind of service they're offering us for the install, but the ongoing service as well. I mean, there's so many issues to weigh up that I was tempted to second the proposal that was made for option 1, but I don't know if somebody
already had a second.
Oh, sorry, I'll third it then. Yeah, okay.
Absolutely.
Can I ask for a recorded vote on this, please, while I'm thinking about it? What was I going to say? I forgot what I was going to say now.
I'm thinking about something.
That's how I was.
While you're thinking, if I can come back to option 1 and just reiterate or substantiate what I'm saying is, if they do a terrible job, Wilton will know about it because they're right on our doorstep, and I'm sure they'll be very proud to have it as a flagship sort of thing that they can stand behind. And I do like the fact that if there's any problems, they're going to do it all replace for free, which we need to factor that in for long-term costing. Have you remembered?
Well, any company would come and service it, you know, and I was thinking like Stanner and Andover, but they always have, you know, they do the whole country. Stanner is a well-known company, the Stairlift, but they would have local contractors who would service it. So yes, so that
replace it.
So that the company, any national company, would have local people to service it, to fit it.
I think
very
it's
big
a lot of national companies, if they come from Nottingham, for example, they potentially are going to charge you for even coming out to have a look.
Yeah, cool out things.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wargate themselves are a national company.
Yes, but they do all the prisons.
So it's Southgate.
Oh, yes, I'm not saying don't use Moorgate.
Service stations, etc.
I mean, I think, yes, using Moorgate's a great idea because that's the materials and we know what they cost and the brochure price and they're local, and maybe we could even put a sign up, you know, if they give us a discount saying, you know, Moorgate made in Wilton, as advertising for them. But it's the fitting and it's the design that I was thinking about, you know, and every company doing it. But Healthmatic did say they could get us 3 of their contractors to price for us, a bit like Wiltshire Wildlife did for the pontoon. They would still have 3 prices based on the same specification, same drawing.
Yeah, but that's yet to be done because Healthmatic would have a relationship with the builders or, you know, and the fitters and all of that. That's what they do. So those details are not yet decided. If that's the bit you want competitive pricing for, I suspect that is yet to come.
Okay, I think it's an opportunity for us to put money back into the local economy. Personally, I think, you know, we've got local organisations here that are market leaders, I believe, in what they do, and we're fortunate enough to have that for such a prestigious project, such as this, which has been on the cards for a long time. So I can see definitely the rationale for option 1. Really. So with that in mind, if there's no further discussion to be had at the moment, I don't think there is, I'm going to revisit that proposal and we just need to get some rationale included in the resolution.
Yes, and what you can also include is that you can include within the resolution that if the council appoints Moorgate / Healthmatic, that 3 quotes are then supplied for the building works associated with the design. You can build that in, which covers.
Is that like an amendment? Yeah.
Well, I'm suggesting that if you wanted to discuss that, then you can.
So can I redo my proposal with 3 quotes?
You can propose an amendment to.
I'd like to propose an amendment to my proposal.
And as a seconder, I'm happy to support that.
So, and your proposal now is?
That we choose option 1, but it is 3 quotes.
For the building fund.
Okay, and do you need further rationale more than that?
You just need to be comfortable that you are. Yes, I think it would be helpful to give some rationale in terms of value for money, that you are comfortable that you're spending taxpayers' money in the right way, and that choosing a local company is the right decision for this council.
What she said. Thank you.
So, and this is a recorded vote, so first of all then, all of those in favour of option 1?
Is that with the 3 quotes?
With the 3 quotes?
Yeah.
Okay,
It's unanimous.
unanimous. Okay.
We'll go back to the number of cubicles. Do we need to decide
No.
what that will all come out in the wash?
Oh, sorry.
Part of my proposal wasn't, was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Right, on to project number 4 then. So this is the men's shed request for groundworks and 2 storage containers. Actually, an interest. So for this one, the recommendation consists of, in effect, 3 options. So option 1, contracting the men's shed to do the groundworks and installation and reconfiguring of shipping containers. Or option 2, a single council managed project with 2 phases and further considers a review the lease quotes and select a solicitor to progress the men's shed lease renewal, and the appointment of 2 councillor representatives to the project to support ongoing development of the project scope and specification, noting that the project plan, including estimates and tender documents, will be presented to council for consideration at a future meeting. And the reason I said it could contain 3 options is because there's a project number 5 could be combined with option 2, which is what is it further down your list.
Sorry, I didn't hear that.
So project number 5, it states on the agenda that project number 5 could be combined with project 4, which would effectively be that would only really occur with option 2. So if you went to option 2, you could then effectively combine it with project 5, which would be the car park and the men's shed works at the same time, all under one council project. So any questions, comments, feedback?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, the men's shed do a brilliant job. I can't speak too early on people would go in there now, and I would be quite happy for them if they want to carry out the groundworks. They've probably got contacts for people that could do that, so that's my personal opinion.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So my only concern with option 1 is the legal and health and safety side of it. Obviously, the men's shed are great and they've done a fantastic job so far, but extra groundworks does open us up to issues if something goes wrong. Would we be better taking everything? I know it would cost more, and putting it together as 2 projects with men's shed as project liaison or something, so they're still included and doing their own kind of for themselves, but under our oversight.
I'm with councillor Ditton on that, because
there's also sort of the insurance and CDM regulations, but I do, safety risks. I do like the fact that, would like to choose option 2 if I went with 1, but it would be that men's shed must be very much involved in it, but on a consultation and input level, but that it's overseen, and I am aware, as with Councillor Ditton, that it's a lot more money, but there'll be uniformity, there'll be safety, but it must be to sort of men's sheds bargaining specification and heavy input.
I'd agree with that. It just, to me, it makes so much more sense to have one project covering these 2 areas. And as I said before, last time when it was discussed, I think it would be odd if the council asked any organisation to go ahead and do groundworks on council land without council being involved or having oversight and things like that. It's always bothered me, and I know others have said about, the liability, the risks and the liabilities. And I know that the men's shed have insurance. I know they've done a very detailed risk assessment. I'm not suggesting in any way they're not perfectly responsible to do the job. But I just think it makes much more sense for unity, for staff oversight or councillor oversight potentially. It just makes so much more sense to have one project in 2 phases. The men's shed have already given the plans and the outlines and the measurements, and they already know. So I totally agree. Complete involvement with men's shed. I keep looking at Peter, kind of making assumptions. So yeah, I think I'm agreeing with what you are saying. I think as a council, it's responsible. It's the right thing to do to oversee this whole thing as one project.
Yeah, and just to on top of that, it's a legality as well. So if anything untoward was go wrong, we're at least protected. We're protecting us, the community, as well as the people going to be doing the project. But definitely need to be entwined together. Why would you do one then leave it together? And I think with the public toilets and then this, it'll be a massive impact. It'd be nice if it got done in time for the carnival and all that malarkey, and the car park, and I just think and unbiased as well. People looking at it and dealing with it.
Thank you. Councillor.
Yeah, I actually look at it from a different point of view. I actually think it should be 2 separate projects, to be honest. One project, the men's shed, fine, that's a small project that could be done. And that will be done before any work's done on a car park.
Yeah.
And then you do the car park afterwards. So you're not actually moving machinery across finished surfaces. I also think that perhaps we ought to look at complying with the SUDS requirements of drainage, natural drainage. So you need an absorbent car park material, and that's really a specialist project because there'll be a warranty with that. And that's how my look at it.
That's right, because that's where we ran into problems last time, when many years ago now. It just seems such a long time ago when we said, right, we'll tarmac the car park and we'll put the low lightings in and everything, and it was all it looked as there to grab and to put down, and it was done. But then we found out we can't tarmac the car park fully because of the water
No.
Councillor Bluntford, how are you saying though that the men's shed must move the containers and then somebody else come in and do? So I'm saying just one contractor that does it all, because they have the heavy machinery. They must be aware then that they will move the men's shed under men's shed guidance, and then they continue to do the.
Well, I don't know that you'll get the car park tractor to do the surface and do what men's shed one day.
Could they not get a subcontractor in within their planning? No.
No, because you're looking at a car park. That's a specialist trade. It's a specialist thing. That wouldn't necessarily have the equipment to do what they want on the men's shed. But it's far better to get the men's shed done first, out of the way, and then go on to the car park.
What we can do, you're absolutely right. So And it's logical, but that's how we'd all do it, because what would you do? You would do a car park first and trampoline.
No.
But
No one's saying that.
no, but just
No, I know. But
what I'm saying is, I like what going. That's even though I said do it combined, but in a logical sequence.
Yeah.
But I actually agree with what you're saying because
You know, I haven't looked at the car park in detail, but you've got a tremendous amount of work to do there.
it needs to be moved out with contractors. That's what you're saying
Yeah.
to specialists.
Even if it's different contractors, I think this is asking us if the council treats this as completely separate projects, or if the council oversees the whole thing as it might take half a dozen different contractors, because if you're going to have lighting, that might be a different contractor. If you get car parking, it might take several different skills and contractors. But my understanding of this question is, how do we approach this whole subject? One project in 2 phases, overseen with the council responsibility, or Menshed, you crack on with that bit and we'll come after you finished, which I think is the other option. That's
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think Menshed is great. And I want to support it in principle, but I have got a couple of concerns. One is flooding. I know that Bree's put in a report later on about getting insurance for flooding in Wilton is difficult. And then on top of that, Castle Meadow Car Park is a hotspot for flooding. You know, it's right there on the level 3 zone for flooding. The Environment Agency wanted to build a bund in front of that car park to stop the bungalows behind it flooding. We had a man come to the recent flooding meeting who said he got 6 inches of water in his garden he was wading around in.
this would all be addressed by the contractor. This is all engineering stuff that would be addressed by the contractor.
I would quite like the Environment Agency to be consulted, or to write, you know, to give us a start what we can do on that piece of land, because in 2017 the town council turned down the bund, you know, to protect those houses. So then to come and say, oh, we're going to, you know, if we tarmac Stool, I think it might cause a problem, because there is an underground river going just behind the wildflower patch.
But this is what the project will do. We can't, there's no point doing any of those things before, this is what the project does.
Right, and the other thing is, I thought it was going to be 3 containers that we were going to be turning, and 2 containers were turning and becoming 3, and now in the current plan it looks like there's 4. Does that leave enough outdoor space for storage of things, you know, like the bins or the trailer? There's other things that the council own. It's one question that came to my mind. Then it said about the council paying £1,300 towards it, and I was thinking, is it the council that wants extra storage space? Do we need an extra container? That was my thought. Or is it the men's shed that want the extra space?
The council contribution is to do with high plant and equipment, wasn't it? It was a contribution.
That was the decision
In the
that was made.
previous,
Yeah, that's right. For Christmas, October, I think.
that presumably would all be reviewed, you know, and readdressed, depending on what.
It's not the storage for the council.
Yeah. But I'm gonna let Councillor.
Thank you. When the plans that went before the council in November were for 4 containers. So at the moment you have the equivalent, the 2 containers that have got a 1.5 metre gap between them, which is really allocated for the flood defence storage. So the proposal is to reorientate those containers by 90 degrees and have them more fit, and that will enable 4 containers to be from directly adjacent to the shed up to the limit where the back end of the existing containers are. So it would take up no more further space there. It would all reorientate so that the opening of the containers would be facing towards a pavilion, which would make it far easier for access and egress. There's still room at the other side, the far end by the river end, for the container, for the trailer to be stored. So that's not an issue. Storage is not an issue, just a question of reorganising everything. Certainly from the Environment Agency's perspective, I mean, we know we've got a problem. We never had a no against the tarmacking of the surface. There was just alleged that there was no, there were no actual planning permit consent. The planning conditions weren't specific to say it had to be gravel. The recommendations by the developer was that it was gravel, and you can see the problems, and that's gravel surface is not porous now, as everybody knows. So if you remember, we had the car park working group that I was a member of with Alan and yes, and Mick was with me. And if you remember, we've talked about partially to tarmac and also parking, so the actual parking areas could be gravelled, which would alleviate the flooding problems. As far as the actual development is concerned, the men's shed have got the proposal ready to go. We've done that. It's come before the council. The council have seen it. The only problem the council had back in November was the oversight management of the project. But they had no problem with the men's shed doing that at the time. It was just a question of being complete from the council's perspective of having the oversight and management of, well, you know, really strictly speaking, what the council need to do. We need to be certain that it's going to be done correctly. And I think that's the idea of the oversight and management. The other thing is that, as Councillor Bradford Hull said, it needs to be done before the car park. So that's, so I from my perspective, the way I was hoping it was going to go was it'd be one project in 2 phases. So the first phase would be the containers to the rear of the pavilion, which the rear of the men's shed, which has already been costed and allowed for by the men's shed. So the men's shed, we're looking to be the contractor from the council to do that development. Then phase 2 would be the overall car park and the surfacing of the area inside the compound as the other phase of the project. So that's really where, you know, well, I would like to be, because certainly men's shed have done all the work. We're keen to get on and get it done. And as for the containers, one of the containers existing is purely for the council's use. The second one is for the sports clubs, and in fact the carnival also sort of co-opted a bit of space in there as well. So the 2 new containers would be one totally for the men's shed, and one would be for carnival stroke community storage, and that would allow the council to have the other 2 as they are existing.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to come to Councillor Pamela.
Yes, I would like.
Resolution.
I would like to have the 2 jobs together. The reason being, I have as I said, the terraced houses behind that fence, they do get water coming up under their floorboards, you know, so there's not a lot of leeway one way or another. Adding 2 containers will make more roof space with no soak away. Putting concrete under them worries me, because, you know, you're removing soil, so you're removing groundwater. And I did think some of the gravel in the car park, could that not be used to go under the containers so you still could store water? You know, the larger bits of gravel would allow the through flow of water, whereas concrete would not. It will increase the volume of surface water. You know, I just worry about the knock-on effect. As a flood group member, I just, you know, clicks in my head. That's why I'm thinking environment agency. And will we need planning for this as well because of the lighting?
I'm sure planning absolutely will be needed.
We haven't discussed lighting yet.
No, and it's not here to be discussed at this stage.
All right, you know, I just thought that
that's the development of the car park project.
Yes. So, okay, no more discussion now on this. So do we have any proposals?
Yes, I can't quite look at word it. So I would like it if we put it together so that there's overall oversight of what the men's shed works are being done, so that everybody's covered insurance wise, safety and security wise.
Yeah.
But I would propose we leave it with the men's shed to do, because they've done all the pre-planning, but oversee it, and then pop the car park in as a second phase to that whole thing.
So
So that it-
2.
Yeah. No,
I don't think it's.
I think so. Well, I don't think I think it's option 2 with option.
Option 2.
It's one being done by the men's shed, isn't it?
Yes, it's one. It's
In contracting, you're asking to absolutely contract the men's shed for the work,
yes, I think that's what I'm doing.
or
Does that include the car park?
No.
No, like actual car park is sort of a separate project, but yeah,
Option 2 is 2 phases with 1 contractor.
they're not.
It can't go from 2, that's the main shed, that's the car park.
So if what's councillor Ditton trying to say, it's councillor managed with proper procurement, insurance, CDM oversight and professional contractors. Is that what you're saying, councillor Ditton?
Yeah, oversight.
Yeah, councillor
But the
managed
men's shed
with proper
do
procurement.
it with all of that.
Somebody go ahead.
Can I just say, if option 2 had an S on contractors, that would be a different proposal. Or not a different proposal, because at the moment, option 2 implies one contractor for all the work, but if there was an S on there.
That's my problem with that one.
Ah.
We can't use one contractor for.
Which is what
all of it.
Councillor Blackburn was saying, yeah.
Yeah.
Electrician.
But I,
So Clark, can we amend the option?
Of course.
so. Can I ask a question to
Yeah.
councillor Ditton?
Okay.
I'm looking at option 2.
Mhm.
Are you thinking option 2, but not necessarily all one contractor
Yeah,
for the work?
yeah.
Mhm.
Because one contractor wouldn't work for the
Right.
2 projects,
Right.
but the 2 projects should be brought.
So option 2 with as many contractors as is necessary.
Yeah,
Appropriate.
yeah.
Hence the question.
I'd second that.
Could we have a recorded vote on this, please, again?
You would.
Thank you.
So,
Someone clarify what.
so was there,
I think we need to clarify, I'm a bit lost with that as well.
Yeah.
I'm staring at this option 2 and I can't see what you're talking about in terms of. legal contract.
Think of it as project management 2 phases
One
with
contractor.
professional contractor.
In the heading, in the heading.
And in the bullets.
Clean
Um,
governance, one contractor,
one,
one specific.
Right, I see.
One
So I'm
partner,
looking at,
sorry.
I'm looking at the resolution, so the recommendation.
Yeah.
So option 2, a single managed project with 2 phases and further considers the review, the lease quotes and selects this to progress to mention lease renewal, appointment of 2 council representatives to the project to support ongoing development. But obviously that refers to option 2 in the main body of the in the main body of here, which quite rightly says 1 contractor, 2 phases. So I can sympathise why there's been a bit of debate about this and it being 1 contractor. So I personally don't agree with it being 1 contractor. I don't think we can make that stipulation. I equally don't think we can make the stipulation that it will be a contractor as part of the resolution. Will be my personal view. So
Do we mean a council appointed contractor? Is that the sort of wording we're looking at?
No.
No?
Do we need it at this stage? Because if we decide, my thoughts are, if we decide that that the man shed, the compound, the car park are all to be dealt with, overseen by the council, that is not all we need to decide tonight. And appoint councillors and the lease, and all, and in terms of contractors and who does what, is for the councillors and the staff, etc., to decide once the, once the project starts.
would you agree with what you're saying here is recommendation B, option 2,
yeah,
it as the proposal?
yes.
Okay, fine. I think that, and so that would.
Sorry, it's because I'm looking at.
No.
I
Completely understand. So what we're saying is, I think, I don't want to put words into your mouth, but the single council managed project with 2 phases, so not being specific about contractors, but we're saying it's a council managed project. That will also include a review of the lease quotes, selection of solicitor, progress to mention renewal, and the appointment of 2 council representatives. So what we need to do is we need to say, let's deal with the council representatives afterwards. We've got a proposal there for option 2.
Can I clarify before you go on for a second then? Does this now include, is this becoming project 5 where we're doing the car park as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're saying option 2. And let's say a review, we'll include the review of lease quotes and let's say for the mention renewal. We've got a second.
Can I make an amendment?
We've got a,
Or do we do that?
what's
You can't make an amendment to.
we've got a proposal now.
All right.
So what can I just ask, what is the amendment you want?
Well, I just noticed, I've just read it. It says a single tender for both phases. Under option 2, advantage option 2, it's a single tender for both phases. Again, I would like to have 3 tenders, 3 prices.
But we're not being, so with the resolution is stating, is featuring the recommendation at the bottom, so not being specific at this point. We're just leaving, we're saying this will be a single council.
Oh, sorry, I'm looking at advantages.
Yeah, no, I get that,
Oh, sorry.
And we've gone down to the recommendation, so we've got a proposal for option 2, I'm gonna stick with that.
Yeah.
Oh, do we still want this recorded?
I'm still proposing it.
Yeah,
Need a seconder.
so we've got a second, councillor Blackman. Do you still require this to be a recorded vote?
Oh, probably not, because I can't say about the flooding, can I?
Okay,
On amendment. No,
Okay, so all in favour? That's yes. Okay, so all in
I think
favour.
what unanimous, right?
Okay, so that's, so agreed, a single council managed project from 2 phases. Appoint 2 council representatives to lead this project.
I propose councillor Edge.
I'll second that.
And I'll second, I'll
But
propose
isn't it-
councillor Bradford.
I would,
I'll second that.
isn't, hang on, councillor Edge representing the men's shed? He's not representing the council on this, is he?
Well, no,
Aren't you a treasurer at the men's shed?
I am, yeah.
we'll,
Sorry, perhaps I shouldn't be voting.
No,
Councillor
you should have voted for any of this.
No, no, I didn't vote.
Oh, did you not? All right.
okay, so yeah, but we're appointing a councillor or 2 councillors to lead this on behalf of the council. Okay, so
Can I try and clarify that the councillors won't be, so it'd be like councillor Van Holland, councillor Blackman, doing the general kind of, this is what we would like, this is how it's going to work. So it's not that they're specifically in charge and they're doing it.
correct.
So there's
Yeah, yeah,
oversight from all of us as well.
Like the existing model, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So we've got a proposal for councillor Edge. I'll second that. All in favour of appointing councillor Edge? So we've got
No.
no,
Well,
yes.
I think he's representing the men's
Yes,
shed.
so does it vote, because it won't get a vote?
The conflict.
Yes. If you're gonna go with option 2, which is a single council managed project in 2 phases, if it's going to be managed by the council, then that is a conflict.
Can I make a suggestion? I'm quite happy not to be obviously at this stage. But I'm happy that if it goes down the road that the mentioned bit aspect gets done, and that's phase 1 of that, and if councillor Blackman wants to step aside from her role in the 2nd phase, then I can step in and do it and take over from the car park aspect, which was something I'd be.
Clarify, I don't have a role in this at the moment.
Oh no, well, no, I thought somebody was proposing you said. Sorry.
I think we were tempted to propose councillor Blanford Hull.
What we suggesting the conflict is here. That's what I'm just trying to.
Well, because
I'd be overseeing it and doing it, sort of thing.
yes,
But we haven't said that you'd be the appointed contractor for it.
Well, that's true.
no,
That's my point. This is.
But it would be if I wasn't.
He's got, still got a kind of
and
personality.
then it could be seen by the public as an influential.
Yeah.
Has he not got a foot in both camps?
Yes.
Yes.
But he's the treasurer of the men's shed,
Yeah.
so his slant is to look after the money and make sure.
No,
the
no,
men's shed-
I have 2 roles. I've got a role as a
Fundraising.
councillor. I've also got a role as a
Yeah.
councillor, and I can delineate those.
Can we resolve this by another councillor?
But yes, just something else with it.
Volunteer. I volunteer, because then you have 2 councillors from the council and councillor Edge, who is the voice of the men's shed. You know what I mean?
So I'll retract my nomination then.
Understood. So.
Sorry.
So you can still be on site, couldn't you, councillor Edge,
So
as the men's shed representative?
so we've got a proposal for councillor Lamina. Seconder, please. Councillor Boyd, all in favour?
So, if she wants to do it,
Yes. We need another one.
We need another one. So can I have a proposal for a second councillor?
Councillor.
Blanford Hall.
Yeah.
Councillor? Yes, yeah, so councillor Bab, so who's proposing, sorry?
Yeah, I will, but I think someone else, but yeah, so.
So,
Anyone of us.
so councillor Blackman has proposed councillor Blanford Hull, seconded by councillor Dissing, all in favour?
Except that section.
And it's a mention, yeah, okay, right,
It's kind of 3 heads then.
yeah, okay, right, on to, we don't need to cover agenda item then project 5, because that's now included, correct?
Correct, but you just need to vote on your preferred solicitor. So contractor B has sent in their quote this afternoon at 1950.
Okay.
Oh yeah. So you've got option A between 2,000 and 3,000, option B 1950, option C 1750.
Is one of these the existing solicitor?
Yes, option C.
I think there is some merit to go with the solicitor who has already served as well, unless you've had problems with
The solicitor one.
no.
Oh, yeah. I'm not sure.
So the current one is C.
Under advantages of
I would
option
propose C, and in that case,
I second it.
We've got a proposal. Any other vote or any other
Sorry,
questions?
could you read the proposal?
There's a proposal for option, sorry, for
quote C.
quote C. Quote C.
Quote C,
1750 plus VAT.
Which is our existing.
and passed out with case before. So
Okay, so we all know it's proposal for option, so for contractor C. I'm going to go to the vote. All in favour?
Abstain.
And one abstention. Okay. Happy?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. So on to what I'm afraid everyone, most people on the call are waiting for. So agenda item
Almost forgot about that.
number 8. So to consider the Wilton Town Council response to Dorset and Wiltshire Fire and Rescue Service consultation and proposed closure of the Wilton Fire Station. I'm not going to go into too much detail on this. We've obviously heard from a number of the public tonight about this. A number of us have been to the consultation events that have either taken place in Salisbury or in Castleknock Pavilion recently. I attended yesterday's and this morning's. I know a number of you have attended as well. We, as a council, have discussed this, and what I just want to check with you all, based on the points that have been raised by members of the public tonight, or any other thoughts that you had. Have you got any other alternative views to what we've discussed? Because if you haven't, I will go ahead and read out our statement on this matter. But if you have, I'd like to hear them.
I'm happy for you to go ahead.
I would support the statement that you've done. Thank you for the trouble you've gone to.
yeah.
The lengthy statement you made, I personally would support it.
Okay, thank you. So what we'll do is I'm going to read the statement, if you can just bear with us on Teams. And then once I've read the statement, we'll go to, I'll propose it, and then I'll look for a second and we'll vote on it. So under this agenda item, I want to clearly set out Wilton Town Council's formal position on the proposed closure of Wilton Fire Station. We recognise that the Town Council does not run the fire service and that the final decision rests entirely with Dorset and Wiltshire Fire Authority. However, as a statutory consultee, we are here to unequivocally state our opposition to this closure. While we cannot formally speak for individual parish councils surrounding us, our town sits at the heart of the Wilton Fire Station administration area. This is a vast area covering 180 square kilometres, and we stand with 12,751 residents across this widespread rural network whose emergency safety net is currently being targeted. At their public consultations, the Fire Authority has openly admitted that closing this station will increase the risk to our community. Their own internal report officially logs a negative impact due to increased response times. Their consultation presents theoretical response times based on a best case scenario where every fire engine is magically available 100% of the time. But in reality, Wilton's fire engine is currently available over 65% of the time. The backup engines they expect to absorb our emergencies from Salisbury, Tisbury and Amesbury are available just 56.99%, 58.90% and an appalling 3.91% of the time respectively. Furthermore, Tisbury faces a 21-minute travel time to reach us. To rely on a backup engine from Amesbury that is unavailable 96% of the time, or one from Tisbury that's over 20 minutes away, is a systemic failure. More alarmingly, their own data proves that closing Wilton will delay the second arriving fire engine to a house fire by a staggering 2 minutes and 23 seconds. Because of this delay, they will fail their own 13-minute safety standard in 11 out of 13 cases, an 85% failure rate. Let us be clear that a preventative chat about smoke alarms does not pull someone out of a burning building, nor does it rescue someone from an upside-down car when the backup engine is delayed by nearly 2.5 minutes. The Fire Authority has repeatedly told the public that their funding has been cut by central government. that MPs are not listening and we should be lobbying on their behalf, yet they have just been handed a 3-year financial settlement, giving them financial certainty. They are framing the irreversible closure of the frontline fire station as a cliff-edge financial necessity, but when we look at their own audited accounts and we see the authority is sitting on £23 million in usable reserves, we see the authority we also see an authority that has just received a red significant weakness rating from its independent auditors for inadequate governance culture. Furthermore, we note concerningly high discretionary spending on corporate items, including planned £9.5 million on training facilities and £2.4 million on new IT systems, when they are making our highly trained local firefighters redundant. Who exactly is going to be trained there? Making dedicated roles redundant and permanently increasing the threat to life in our community should be an absolute last resort, considered only after every other option has been exhausted. Yet we see absolutely no evidence that the authority has proactively pursued alternative revenue streams such as community fundraisers, charity drives, or local sponsorships to fund specialist regional assets like Wilton's water carrier. We are there left to conclude that this is not a cliff edge emergency. The Fire Authority has the money in the bank to keep those stations open right now. Over 27% of Wilton's population is age 65 or over. We are a vulnerable community facing deep rural isolation, and we will not accept this risk. Therefore, our formal consultation response will demand that they use their financial buffer to pause these cuts, engage properly with the community on alternative funding, and look for more strategic options to make best use of what taxpayers actually expect their money to be spent on, which is our 999 emergency response. So that is our statement. Our consultation response will reflect that, and I proposed that statement as our formal response from Wilton Town Council. Do I have a seconder?
Okay.
Councillor Boyd, all in favour? All in favour?
That's unanimous, yes.
Right.
Can you send that over to me so that I can?
Oh, absolutely, send that over to you. On to item number 9. So to consider updates to various policies. So most council policies are reviewed on an annual, biannual cycle unless legislation or local circumstances require early revision. The following policies are due for review and can be accessed via those links that are in the agenda. So I'm not going to go through every one of these in turn. What I will ask, because if there aren't many amendments or there are no amendments, then we can approve these on block. But are there any questions or amendments that anyone wants to put forward to these policies?
I would move them to approve on block.
Okay, so I've got a proposal to block approve these policies. Do I have a seconder? I have. Councillor Alexander. All in favour? All approved. Noting that these policies are part of the council's internal control framework and require regular review as part of the ongoing government responsibility. I should have mentioned that, but we have approved those. So we go on to agenda item number 10. So to resolve the appointment of an insurance provider for 2026-27. You will see in your papers that there were in total 2 quotes that have been put forward for our insurance renewal. So, any questions? You absolutely can say something.
I just want to raise a point that Councillor Lepemina mentioned earlier, that company, it's been a challenge, okay, because Wilton is based on a floodplain and it's classified, some areas are classified as a red risk rating. So company B, who are the company that I would be recommending, have declined to quote because of particularly the pavilion area being in that flood zone. The newly formed Flood and River Management Advisory Committee will be, over the course of this next 12 months, doing some modelling work with the Environment Agency to provide evidence to say actually that although it's in a floodplain, the pavilion has never flooded, which will help us in terms of evidence for future quotes. That's the rationale why Company B declined to quote. Company A is our existing insurance provider and company B is an insurance broker. And looking at the small print, they are willing to insure the pavilion, but because it's in that flood risk area, there would be an exemption for flooding. But I spoke to Councillor Edge this week. There's not been an issue with flooding, and it's on a raised foundation levels. So that's another consideration for you. There could be, we could go out if you wanted to explore company C. There is an option to go out to another company and buy flood cover just for the pavilion, which would be in the region of £800 for £10,000 worth of cover per year, which would cover basically the carpets if they were ruined, if there was something in that area.
So the pavilion is raised up, isn't it? A couple of foot.
It is.
Yeah.
Would that be, or if that wouldn't apply to like leaks, pipework leaks, that sort of
No,
flooding, that
no,
would be,
no,
that would be
no.
still included.
The pavilion's all covered, and actually, if you look at your schedule on the updated papers, company C is covering more in terms of the content sum, the insurance sum.
If I could just add in there, I'm conscious obviously of insurance because my property, my garden gets flooded every time we have flood. My gardens, I can't get into my garden, and quite often our drive is flooded. When I apply for insurance, I have to be careful of what the questions are, because some of the questions I get asked by an insurance company is, "Do you live in a floodplain area?" And I have to say, "Yes, I do," and that's effectively what these insurance companies are saying here. I go to another insurance company and say, "Has your property ever flooded?" I can say no, and that's what I have to personally base my insurance on, and that's where we're coming back pretty much with this. And if you, the family was talking about the bund that that the Environment Agency were originally intended to put in, that is why you'll see that there is a raised element to the pavilion, because that was on the level that the bund was going to be. So the bund, if the bund ever did get built, it would have been extended from the side of the pavilion towards the river, and from that, and then from the other side would be moving out. So yeah, the pavilion would actually be part of the bund. Having said that, the rules changed, and we've gone from 1 in 100 year flood to 1 in 300 year or 500 year flood, and that will now be currently underneath their new recommendations of floodplain, flood liability. So
Yeah, and you were saying also in 2014, I think it was, that the council undertook works in Castle Meadow to improve the drainage to alleviate some of those.
at the same time that we built the pavilion, we did actually totally dig up the football playing area, and drainage was put into there because there's always been a problem. It was an uneven ground and was taking the opportunity to put flood in there. So hence why we haven't had any real flooding issues on the field, because that can drain through the drainage that's put in. And certainly I've never seen water come up to the gateway. Never ever. Yes, I've seen that field flooded back in 1989-90, which is the worst flood we ever had in Wilton. But it never ever got anywhere near to going down Castle Lane whatsoever. But obviously, you know, the Environment Agency work on computer models.
Yes.
Which is another story. It's not real life.
I'm not sure the contents. I mean, if we've got 500 and something thousand worth of contents in there, I don't quite understand that. That's not the sum assured bill, is it? The contents. Anyway,
Yes.
we'd never need that, would we?
That's the breakdown.
It's a refitting cost as well, isn't it?
Is a
What of the pavilion?
That's included in the sum insured for the property, which is the first row. The second row is the sums insured for contents. And that obviously includes all of the insurance values for all of the regalia and all of the other ones.
we forgot about those. Yeah, we're so focused on
No, so
focused on the pavilion.
Thank you.
Okay, do we have a proposer for? Is that a proposal coming or question?
No, I'll propose it, company A.
Yeah.
Cheaper on the other one, let's.
Seconder?
Yeah.
Yeah, seconder, councillor Black. Oh, sorry.
I know you're
You're fine.
All in favour? Okay, yeah, it's amended. My apologies, in my rush, I've missed out something from item number 8. So if we just pop back to the fire station consultation, you remember a member of the public came in and asked us a question earlier, which I'd like to tag on to this resolution, which was to whether or not we will support allowing another consultation to be held at the pavilion, and for us to support that, also waive the charge for the pavilion. That was the question was asked.
I propose we vote.
Okay, is there a second? Oh, yeah. We're going to go, so proposed by councillor Rhodes, seconded by councillor Willock, all in, well, hang on, we haven't got councillor.
That's fine, I've just had
Okay, so it's carried, so all in favour, it's carried. Apologies, Elliot, but it has been carried, so yes, is the answer to your question. Okay, back to agenda item 10, 11, sorry, been a long day. To receive an update on Microsoft 365 SharePoint working group. So, not going to go through this in any detail, but council is asked to consider the information, endorse the ongoing SharePoint restructure and support the introduction of revised access permissions. The only access noting council training will be organised once the new system is in place. Questions, please, comments? Anything I would add to this, just ahead of your questions? Councillor Wilton and myself have been through this ahead of it being put into the agenda tonight. As you all know, I was very passionate, as were the others, about not losing access to information that we would be freely entitled to have. You will notice that in here it states that councillors will still need to be afforded information on a need-to basis relating to controlled information, which I think is absolutely right, and that shouldn't be available to us. And information that relates to personally identifiable information or GDPR regulated information. But in terms of anything that we could request access to and have produced, we hope that this structure allows us to access that information via the controls that we have in place. But that's what this is articulating. Any questions or comments? None. Oh, no. Okay. So on that basis, are we asking for a resolution? Yes, please. Sorry. Okay. So,
shall I propose that we go ahead as per the diagram? The recommendation from the clerk as per the diagram.
Yeah. Do I have a seconder for that? Councillor Ditton, all in favour? Yes. On to agenda item 12. So to consider and approve amendments to the asset register. So again, you obviously all had an opportunity to look at this. The only additional comment to add is that there is an omission from the register that, assuming that this is approved, that we will need to add back on the wildflower meadow sign, which seems to be missing or omitted from the register as it stands today. It will be added on. So any questions on the asset register?
There was one, that's in Minster Street, a bench, which was south side of River Wiley at the shopping village. That's not owned by the council.
It's on the register.
It's on the register, yeah.
Sorry, Chair.
It's on line 8. South side River Wiley at the shopping village. If you recall, that was the one dedicated to Martin Coombs that his wife paid for. Is opposite the fire station. I think that's the one we're referring to. Yes.
I thought that was the one out of the cemetery building that had been sat there for years, and we thought, oh, we need to put it somewhere, so we put it there.
No, that was, if you see it, it's got in memory of Martin Coombs on there.
Oh, I beg your pardon.
Yeah, so that's one just to the entrance of the shopping. Bit.
Line number.
Line number 8. Yeah, line number 8.
Yeah.
South side.
One there, it's the south of the river, isn't that a council one?
Yes, but
Next one.
Peter's referring to the one adjacent to the shop.
Yeah, yes, yes.
Yeah, sorry, Peter.
Yeah, sorry, I did mention that before, but I forgot.
That's not, sorry, obviously a question, but that's not ours. What happens when if it gets vandalised, the damage is responsible for? Or,
problem.
It is, so it would be entered on the asset register as a £1 nominal value,
okay,
and then it would be an insurance value attached to it if it's over £500.
okay. Any other questions?
Another suggestion?
You absolutely can.
Would the council be happy then if, when you resolve on this, that we don't resolve on the value until I've just finished doing that tweak tomorrow, and then I'll put the value in when I finish the week minutes? Okay.
Whether they want to contact rather than the values.
So,
Yeah.
right, so if I make a proposal that we approve the asset register with the amendments, the addition of the wildflower meadow sign and the amendment to the bench that councillor Edgeworth. And then you're correct that number was so
Yeah, so what I've got in the minutes is that you've got the value in there, 631, noting the line 8 bench and the wildflower meadow, I tidied that up, will be updated, and the revised value is full. Yeah.
Can I have a seconder? Absolutely. All in favour? Yeah, all in favour. Okay. Item number 13. So to consider joining the Armed Forces Covenant Scheme. So Wilton has a long affiliation with the Armed Forces, especially the Army's land forces who were previously based in the town. The town has become a home to Entrain, a scheme providing training and accommodation for ex-forces members, supporting them in the transition to civilian life. A number of our assets and services are likely to be used by serving ex-forces members and their families, and the council officer team now has an ex-forces member. So the recommendation of the council considers signing the Armed Forces Covenant Pledge and applying for the bronze tier of the employer recognition scheme. Any questions?
I would propose that, Mr. Eckland, and that's the men should have recently done the same thing.
Okay.
Because we have a large, obviously, veterans asking all it, so we do that.
Yeah, so we've got a proposer and a seconder. All in favour? All got a question now, I think.
I was literally just going to say, I'm surprised we weren't already on it. Hadn't already signed it years ago, but yeah.
Thank you. All in favour? All in favour. Okay. Agenda item number 14, clerk's report. I'll hand over to you for that one.
Great.
I'll mention you've been quite on my read, so yeah.
I don't think I need to read out everything that's in the full information only section. Other than to say we've made some good progress with some of the outstanding niggles that we've had for quite a few months. So really pleased to report that finally we've now got the men's shed sorted in terms of its tracking, its database, its meter reading, it's all perfect. And by year end, everything will be, all the backlog will be sorted and it's all perfect. Same for the solar feed-in tariff, that's been a bit of a challenge, but thanks to Reece, we've been relentless in getting that sorted.
Can I just ask on the mention book, you send us the invoice?
Yes.
And we'll pay that.
Yeah. Community centre, we're really thankful of the grant. The impact report just shows how many residents benefited from that amazing service that the team did on Christmas, and they're planning to do the same thing but bigger again. They're looking at community transport this year for bringing people to the community centre, which is brilliant.
How many? Sorry, how many people did they?
I think they had about 50 last year. Yeah, it was very well supported. Yes.
It was very nice lunch as well.
Yeah.
I was there.
Okay.
Volunteer. Yeah.
How do you know it was lunch? Nice if you didn't have it.
It looked nice, I'm sure. Got fed.
LHFIG is stood for itself. So those are the schemes that have progressed this year. And the PHS contract we have saved the council £832 by reviewing our contract. Did you know we had 7 nappy bins that we were paying for in the pavilion? We've now got 1.
Thank you.
So that's just, well, it's a good saving. The delegated decisions, again, the reason why we're just letting you know all of these decisions is to give you confidence that there's got a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes with getting all of these things sorted. And there's only 3 red issues now on the health and safety audit because the work's been done. And again, this is just further evidence to support some of those actions that are now pretty much in our weekly way of working. So again, it's just really asking for ratification on those delegated decisions. 14.2.5, the Christmas tree was independently assessed this week by a level 7 arborist who is excellent. That's all part of the work that came out of the Christmas light meeting review, workshop meeting. I'm hoping that report will be in by the end of the week, and if so, I'll put it into the digest and then it'll be featured on the clerk's report for April. So lots of plates being spun in the background. Unless it's on here, you wouldn't be reading.
So you need a resolution.
Yeah, just to ratify the.
So I propose that we ratify the items above that have been included. Second, please. Thanks, Alexander. All in favour? All in favour.
Thank you.
So 14.3, other matters to resolve. So we've got some work that needs to be undertaken in the cemetery. So it's the drainage works. There was a drainage report quote included in your papers. Any questions or comments about that? If not, I would propose that.
There's still got anything to say on that?
Councillor Matthews, have you got any view on the drainage report?
Yeah, it's, well, let's go ahead with it when we can.
Yeah, okay. So, yeah, proposal, yeah? Yeah.
Seeing you've been championing it.
No, seconder from Councillor Firmina, all in favour? All in favour, okay. So, so we've had a payroll update, which is included again in your papers. So some changes to some of the staffing. So Ross Water process to leave a facilities officer contracts increased. It's just the town clerk contract is reduced. Town clerk will continue on 24 hours per week on a contracted basis, and the comms officer contract is increased by 14 hours a week. Any questions on those for the clerk? No, okay, so I propose then that we resolve to note those updates. Seconder, Councillor Willock, all in favour? Favour, and then finally, external resident publication, external comms. So to consider and approve the proposed draft of the council annual update leaflet. To approve the printing costs in the region of £400 and to appoint 1 councillor to proofread the final copy prior to printing.
You've now do the proofreading bit.
Yeah,
I'll
absolutely.
propose councillor do.
Okay, so we've got a proofreader. Do we? So can I try and combine this then? So are you happy with the leaflet? Any question on the leaflet?
The only thing I would say about it is, would it be better if, because I get some of the pictures are older, some are in roads and some aren't. Would it be better if we were all the same? I.e. in roads or not?
Yeah.
Oh, that's just my opinion.
So just a bit of a mismatch.
Yeah.
I think it should be rows really.
I'm mindful of the time constraint.
Yes, yeah, that went through my mind as well, as if we're wanting to get.
Maybe
But I
that
hear
an
your
improvement
point.
for next year. So
Actually getting everybody, say we wanted everyone in roads, organising that is a bit.
The intention is to get the professional photographs done at the main meeting with roads, which is too late for this publication.
Right, okay.
But this would be then ready for the launch of the website as
What if
well.
you can't attend that main meeting?
We'll make another provision.
Turn up at your house and build it.
Yeah. Can I go back? I just noticed that, going back to the, projects report, and it's not in the recommendations, hence why, I didn't, highlight it to you. Has anybody had the opportunity to read through the strategic plan, because it was about resolving that, so that we can, publish that? That was my, oversight, apologies.
Very good. Maybe councillor Ditton would like to proofread that as well.
Oh,
Does it need to be spelled correctly?
Sorry,
it was on the projects, agenda items.
we did.
So yeah, I didn't put it in the recommendations, that's why it was missed. So right at the top, agenda item 7, in the 3rd paragraph.
So. So yeah, I just have one amendment to the plan, which was to, having been out today, provide early and gone around all of the play parks. I do think that we're missing a trick potentially in terms of having a play plan, some description within that strategic plan, as in what we're going to do. Just because there's, I think, opportunities coming up for equipment placement, but also potentially the adoption of other areas have been talked about as well. And I do think it'd be a miss personally if we didn't have that in there. Is anyone against? No. Okay, so can I propose then that we accept the accept the strategic plan with the inclusion of a play plan as well within them. I'll second it. Councillor Boyd, all in favour? Right, I'll go back to, sorry,
Can I say something? We've got a message in from comms. If anybody would like to put their robes on and pop into the office, they'll take a photo before the publication is sent.
But if we do, but I'm happy to support that. If we do that, we have to commit to doing it, because he can't, he can end up with half of the road and half without again. It could be a different half.
So those that haven't got photos with robes on, feel free to pop into the office.
Okay.
When are you going to publication?
The end of next week.
So what's the deadline?
Robes, huh?
So by Friday the 20th. I'm pretty sure that's going to be okay.
But need to check with him.
I'll send you a WhatsApp message when
It's Tuesday by the end of this week.
Yeah.
Chris.
No.
We don't, we'll do it. Sorry.
Only because the public participation was 9. We started at 7:17.
Ah, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but we'll try and avoid extending.
Yeah.
So. Back to, I've lost. Oh, sorry, just for a second. Resident publication. Thank you very much. So, to consider and approve the proposed draft of the annual update. Was there any other amendments? So we agreed that we'll get photographs done by the 20th, I think. Any other amendments to that leaflet, or we comfortable with the content of that leaflet? Great. And we're comfortable with the printing costs? We're happy.
It's quite a good value, actually.
Yeah, and we're happy with one councillor to do the proofread, which we councillor did. Yeah.
With the one councillor to blame, you mean?
I was someone else got
No, that's fine.
I mean, it's been through the office, so the time it's got to
Any
know.
other volunteers happy to take on the left if anyone wants to look at it?
Oh,
Councillor Forbes. Okay, so can I propose then that we accept the draft leaflet on the proviso that Councillor Ditton and Councillor Forbes proofread it, and we approve the cost in the region of £400.
It's 350. We've got it for now.
Well, okay.
I'll second that.
Okay, seconded by Councillor Blackman. All in favour? All in favour. Thank you very much. Then finally, 14.3.4 grant application. So you have seen in your papers that we've had a grant application from Wilton District Link requesting a grant to support the 25-year celebration of achievements. The details are in the grant application. Any views or comments on that application?
We should support it.
Yes.
I was, we had a district league speaker come to Rotary the other night and we paid and, yeah, they do a first class job and there's 25 years they've been doing it. And I would propose we money.
They've applied to the Rotary as well.
But the other half of the cost, because I see they've only asked for half the
Yeah.
maximum grant.
Yeah.
We haven't received it yet, but it is coming in under.
Okay, so who would like to propose that?
No, probably.
I'll go, Councillor Matthews, seconder, Councillor Forbes, all in favour? All in favour. And thank you for your perseverance tonight. That concludes this evening's meeting.
Well, Mr.
And just a quickie from Neil. So we need to get the publication to Royal Mail in Swindon by the 20th. And we probably need to allow 5 days for printing. So really, by the end of this week, really.
It's only 3 days.
Yeah.
When is Neil available for?
So you can come in to the office at any time on Wednesday, Thursday, all day Wednesday, all day Thursday, and Friday Neil will be in the office till 1-ish. Yeah.
Thank you very much for attending.